they have paid off. We arrive in Great Britain with that new era associated with a brand that is consistently pushing the limits and breaking boundaries. With Victor Vallee in the production truck, Charley Daniels stuck in Twitchland, and Cody Erdmann next to me in the commentary box, I am Josh Mertz. I am beyond proud to welcome everyone to the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus.
I'm guessing he's taking a break. Hey there, Connor. This is Cody up in the production truck. Got us?
Yes, sir.
So, after a very exciting last season, have you put into any work on trying to see if you can catch Sindre and possibly beat him to get this title for this season?
Yeah, I put in a bit of work, especially at this track for the All-Star series that was last week. So I'm feeling decently good. I think we got a pretty good setup here to start the open set. Shenanigans getting ready for the World Championship later this year. So I think me and Sindra should have a pretty good battle this year.
Yeah, I see that you and Sindre are both at the top of the charts at the moment here in practice. Is there anyone else you kind of have your eye on for this season?
Yeah, there's a lot of fast guys that I've seen signed up. I mean, I know Magnus is getting pretty quick. Robbie Lorel puts in a lot of work, and he's going to be one to watch to really progress and get fast throughout the year. And then give a shout to my teammate Josh Edmondson. He's getting pretty quick as well. So I think 5 in points is going to be a pretty fun watch.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having this great partnership with Nitro Circus and Simracer Coin. Hopefully, you guys put on a good battle. I see you're back in the Jim Beaver Esports car. You guys running the same livery as last season, or you got something new in store?
Then we got the same fistful of bourbon, yellow Subies. So look for those on the podium hopefully later.
Yeah, sweet. Definitely hope to see you later tonight. So we'll let you get back to practicing, and good luck tonight.
Yeah, I got a copy. It's gonna be for sure an interesting season. Again, me and Connor, it seems like it's gonna fight on the top there. We've been on pace both, or in every championship that we have driven. So I hope both me and Connor is gonna have a flawless season with no issues and things like that. That's gonna screw up the championship. I'm just hoping for a great fight. That's why I'm here to practice for the Pro Q and just get used to it. it's gonna be a hard to think about. But Robbie has been really quick, qualified for All-Star Invitational together with me. We had Kraus in here as well, if I'm not mistaken. Luke Kraus, yeah. Yeah, he is also quick. So of course we have my old teammates from last season, Magnus and Ray and Phil. So it's a nice little grid we have here. We just need to see who have prepared the most for every event. Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good stream.
Thank you. Yeah, and then you get Luke Kraus and Philip Kraus in 3 and 4. Magnus, Kieran in the 52 car, taking over my number and driving for me. And then Robbie, who's as they both said that he's been putting up practice sessions I wake up in the morning, he's been putting up practice sessions at 3 in the morning. And then Edmondson, you got Connor's teammate. I think he could be a dark horse, if you even want to call him a dark horse. Josh Klog, who's really fast in our GT series, and so on and so forth down the field. We have a lot of cars. This is kind of what we like to see here.
I think I've had myself muted the entire time, so I do apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. I made the mistake of muting myself and never unmuting myself, so do apologize for that. So you heard Cody, and you heard Sindre, and you heard Connor, but you didn't hear me. Now, I think that's a good thing for everybody, but at the same time, I know everybody wanted to hear the questions I was asking and what I was saying. And just to reiterate, since I was muted, and I do apologize for that once again, we will be switching sessions in about 5 to 10 minutes here. And say around 8:50 we will be switching sessions, but they will be having pre-qualifying first in here, I do believe, if we have over 32 entries. And I can go ahead and take a look right now, as we only have the top 10. Looks like we have exactly 32 entries as of right now. So if we get one more driver in here, I believe we will be switching over. However, I say this is the biggest field in Rallycross history, Simracer Coin NASCAR Rallycross history, and we have to attribute that to everybody who's helped us out. Of course, you see up top with the Alzheimer's Association, Kieran Forrest made a honorable donation to the Alzheimer's Association by sponsoring this race tonight, and of course, it is with great honor that we do have that up at the top for us tonight. Go Purple for the Alzheimer's Association to find a cure for that. We also have quite a few other sponsors I think we'll mention later on in the broadcast. I know Mario Bonfante Jr., he has his company. I think it is KES Industries, I believe. Let me go ahead and confirm that with y'all. real quick here. Yeah, it is KES Industries that is sponsoring the GT Constructors on the other side of our system. And we also have iDrive Sim Racing back once again. And finally, of course, as you know, Simracer Coin has returned as the title sponsor of the Rallycross Challenge here. And that is the Champion's Coin, I believe, is the phrase that is tossed around so often here. And that is exactly what it is. And we can't thank those guys enough for their efforts and sponsorships of the series as well. And I think I've only left one other sponsor off, and that would be our presenting sponsor of Nitro Circus. And Charlie, I think you're back, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, Victor. Thank you so much. It's awesome to be here again.
I say it's great to have you back, and while we have a moment in the action, I guess you can go ahead and talk about anything going on in Twitch land right now.
Yeah, well, the audience is filing in. It's looking like another excited bunch tonight. I know Monday night was our first kind of broadcast with this collaboration, and couldn't have gone better from a production standpoint, and the audience was stoked. A little bit quiet, and I think it's because the racing was so good, and I expect the same thing tonight. But if you're out there in Twitch chat, say hey, and let us know what you think of the races, who you're rooting for out there, where you're watching from, all that kind of good stuff, and I'll read some comments as we go. Real quick, just wanted to quick programming note, as we say. We came in from our Micah and Brownie Show podcast, which is our live podcast, happens every Wednesday. And during the duration of this series, that podcast is going to be going on leading into this. So if you missed it this week, make sure you tune in next week. We'll definitely be featuring some great guests over the next few weeks, and hopefully some drivers and athletes that you're interested in hearing from.
Yeah, and to say hopefully, we will have some more drivers next week to talk to. Of course, this week, it's a little bit new. Everybody's trying to get everything together. Everybody's trying to get in every ounce of practice. So we were only able to talk to our top 2 championship drivers from last season. But with that said, however, it looks like a lot of drivers are moving over to the other channel here, or the other server. So we might be stepping away a little bit sooner than expected here. We got about 2 minutes left in this server, and then we'll be jumping over to that one. So we'll step away for just a moment, but we'll be back in just a little bit here. And I believe while we wait here, just gonna say, just see who's out there. We'll go ahead and actually mention this on air. Actually, Magnus Oakenhog goes fastest, and that LRL bunch, that's easy for me to say, they're running Fords this year. And Cody, I know you have experience with both the Ford and the Subaru, so you could probably key us in on the differences between the two.
Yeah, the Ford's got a little bit shorter wheelbase, so it definitely handles a lot different. I noticed when driving the Ford that it handles a lot better on the once it gets really slicked off and on the asphalt, where the dirt with that wide stance and the longer wheelbase, it handles a lot better on like the new fresh dirt. So you're gonna see the Subarus fast early, but then once we get going here and get the track wore in, you're gonna see guys in the Fords like Magnus and Kieran and Parker. Those guys are gonna you're gonna notice they're gonna get faster throughout the night, and then the Subaru guys are gonna almost come back to them. So it's, and I also ran the Volkswagen last season. Yeah, and the Volkswagen's kind of in the middle between the two. So it's, the cars have each car has its own sweet spot of like what the track conditions and what car likes each track condition. So let's see what we have for the final, and we can see maybe there'll be a favorite just because of what car they're driving.
Yeah, and currently looking at the order, it is almost completely Subaru. The yellow that you see there, that is the Subaru on your scoring pylon tonight. The blue, the dark blue, is the Ford Fiestas of Oakenhog and Forest. And we don't see any on the board right now, but I believe we do have a couple Volkswagens in the field. Adam Thomas, Matt Kingsbury, Nate Stewart, all driving Volkswagens tonight. and those will be in white. So when you do see it, that's what you'll see for sure. So we did get 33 entries now. I think Adam Thomas has arrived at the track along with Tim Brokaw out there as well. So I'm not quite sure what the procedure is since we just finished practice here. I don't know if we're gonna, and I know a lot of these guys had disconnected from the session. I don't know if they're gonna bring them all back in or what are they gonna do here.
Yeah, not 100% sure. But just on the subject of manufacturers, if we throw back to last season, if everyone remembers, we had Bo Albert who was driving a Volkswagen win. So it's been proven that a Volkswagen, Ford, or Subaru, they're all fast here.
Yeah, that's correct. And so I believe we will have another session go up. I'm not quite sure on that. I'm going to bring in Josh Mertz. I think he's back here with us. And then he could probably explain this a lot better than I can since he owns this whole thing.
So our format for this season has actually changed, gentlemen. We no longer have 4 heat races, 2 LCQs, and a final. So it was changed up just a little bit with the Nitro Circus collaboration. So looking at what we're doing now, it looks as though we're utilizing the qualifying session of this specific session, I think. We'll keep you updated.
So we got
We're
2 minutes, so we're
figuring it out
going to be
as we
really
go
tight.
here. So 33 cars. So right now we're in the pre-qualifying session. 32 of them will make it through to the night show. So one of these guys is not going to make it. 3 heats. Looks like 12 cars apiece in each heat race, 6 laps, Joker lap once, and the top 2 will advance. So if you finish first or second, you get a couple bonus points, and you transfer automatically to the feature race. Then we will have 2 semi-final races, 8 laps apiece, Joker lap twice, and the top 3 from both of those races will advance. So that will give us our 12 car, 10 lap, 2 Joker race. And Brands Hatch, very tricky circuit to get right. I drove it just a little bit, and I can tell you that I really have no idea how to be fast around this track. But there's specific reasons why myself and Cody Erdmann stepped out of the car, and it's specifically because these guys are so much better than we are.
I mean, there's another reason why I stepped out was because they kind of kicked me out, but I'll tell you, I don't want to be out there anyways because these guys are just too gosh darn good. And with that said, I believe, I'm not sure exactly how this all worked. I believe it went off of practice times or something along the lines of that. But obviously these heats don't matter, and we're about to step away and actually get into the real session for the night show. With that said, I say we're going to step away real quick, and we'll be right back with more action here from Brands Hatch. So stay with us here. And you're live.
And welcome back to the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro, Circus, Victor Vallee and the production truck, Charley Daniels in Twitchland, Cody Erdmann, and myself. I am Josh Mertz. We joked last season that we're in the MRT retirement home. I'd like to not say that, but still also say it, because Nitro, Circus, and NASA. We have identified that this partnership is nonsensical, meaning we all don't make sense. We figured that out on Monday. Cody, as we get ready for, let me look, round number 187 of the championship. The past 186 were not as exciting as this.
No, this is definitely a new stage for us, especially the both of us, since we've been here since pretty much day one. I came in about 2 rounds later than you did, but yes, this is a brand new era for us, and we are super excited and amped up to be here.
As I hate to be the one that has to go over the stats and toot my own horn, but for the viewers that are unaware of who we are, well, the series has been around since 2012, July of 2012, 186 races now. And Cody Erdmann, 2-time champion, and 18 race wins. He's 4th all-time on the wins list. And this is the worst part, that I have to talk about myself, like directly talk about myself. 6 championships, 40 race wins. We have a couple of other people, a couple of notables actually, Cody, now that I think about it, coming into today's race. So Philip Kraus, car number 19, 24 wins, and he has 4 drivers championships. Aforementioned Cody, we have Chris Wetz, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, never won a championship, 19 race wins. Do you remember in 2014 when Wetz got so close to that championship and missed out?
Yeah, we were like almost, even though we were competing against him, we were like cheering him on to win because we knew like how close he was, and then he was never able to put a season back together like that ever since. And it's unfortunate, but we still love him like a brother with the series.
As Connor Parisi, one of the world championship drivers in our series, 11 race wins, so he's 6th all time. We don't want to forget though, Dylan Livingood, the co-founder, the original co-founder of North American Simulated Auto Racing, back in 2012 when it was North American Sim Racing Association. We had a couple different branding changes. Dylan Livingood, 13-time race winner, 4-time champion, and the only driver to make it 3 consecutive championships. And it's going to be interesting to see because Sindre joined me, you, and Dylan as a repeat champion. Do you think Sindre has it in him to make it 3 in a row and tie Dylan's record?
He definitely has it in him, I would say. It just all depends on if he can put a perfect season together, because with the competition as stacked as it is now, you almost have to put a perfect season together. You got like Connor last season, he just stacked on wins on top of each other like it was pancakes. It was insane. So trying to get the championship this season, you almost have to run a perfect race. Get quick time every week, get the first round heat win, and then we have a perfect launch in the final. Hopefully no one bowls into you into turn 1 and then run away.
As once again, we'll go over the format before we continue to reminisce on retirement home drive. We had pre-qualifying, which resulted in 32 cars making the night show. The one car that did not make it, Adam Thomas, for Dirt Esports. There was a little bit of a communication error between the sanctioning body and that team and driver, so it resulted in him unfortunately missing the show. Heat races, we're going to have 3 of them, 6 laps. Top 2 will transfer. You have to take the Joker lap once, so 12 cars in each. We haven't changed the format considerably since we used to run quarterfinals, semifinals, and an LCQ back on NASCAR 2003. I must have messed that up. So you're right. I don't know how to do math. It's okay. I hope you're live roasting me right now because I don't know how to.
Let me actually go live so I can roast you. 12 into 3 does not make 32.
You're right.
So
what are you
10.
talking about?
It should be
that's
11.
36.
It should be 11, 11, and 10. For
okay,
your 3 groups tonight.
I'm having flashbacks from February.
I guess.
Let's
I'll
talk
go
about
ahead.
the accounting major messing up math.
I'll go ahead and talk over this, so then that way you can go ahead and get everything in your head together and make sure you're counting right next time. So, our heats, 3 groups, so that means 3 heats, 11 cars in 2 of them and 10 in the other. 6 laps, you joker once, and the top 2 from that are going to advance. Then you have your semifinals, which is new for this season. 2 groups, so up to 13 cars, that'll be up to 26 cars total, 8 laps, joker twice, and 3 of those guys are going to get to advance out and go to the final for a 10-lap feature with 2 jokers, as per usual in NASA. I guess that's our trademark thing, isn't that right, Josh?
Correct. We wanted to, 9 years ago, when we started this, we wanted to differentiate ourselves because we were really, really inspired by the Global Rallycross Championship that was running in America at the time. And GRC ran 1 joker in their finals. And I said, well, that's kind of boring. We want to switch it up and run strategies. And everyone was questioning me as to why we have 2 jokers. And let me tell you, those 2 jokers, and Cody can agree, maybe even you, Victor, those 2 jokers have resulted in crazy strategies throughout the years.
As you remind me every time about Germany.
Yeah, and I think one guy...
Right, when you lost the race because you were slow and you had to take your second joker.
And
right, that was the
At
one.
the wrong time, I should have taken on the last lap instead of the
Yes.
second lap.
Yeah, and I think there's one guy out here who epitomizes the 2 joker stance the best. Unfortunately, he's not on track, but Chris Sweats. And I do want to mention this. This is his first race back in Rallycross competition in quite some time. I know he did GT a couple years ago, or a couple seasons ago. But he's back in Rallycross competition. He's looking pretty strong, and hopefully he can put out a good result for the old NR 2003 guard that you, myself, and Cody all make up.
As the only one left from the original drivers, as Dylan Livingood was signed up, but the Canadian, well, the American, I should say, from Colorado drives under the Canadian licenses. Numerous drivers do, representing family heritage. So he is not here tonight. Of course, Cody Erdmann's next to me. So Philip Kraus kind of joined in 2016, so he's kind of, but not really part of that original brigade, and so did Victor Vallee. So it's going to be interesting to see if Chris Sweats can adapt to these cars. We know we've talked about that previously, but it is certainly a tall order. As defending champion, Sindre Silva, it will not be on our graphics, as our graphics are a little broken at the moment, but defending champion, you'll notice, has a different number plate and a number banner than the rest of the grid. It is inverted, blue versus red, and red versus blue. He comes in, technically, as the points leader, as he is the defending champion. You'll notice there, perfect shot from the camera going into turn number 1. So a little bit of inspiration from the Supercross world. So easy for us and you guys at home to identify who the points leader is at any given time.
And as the moment looks like we're having all the guys make their first laps here. So let's see what kind of times we get thrown on the board for lap 1 of everyone's qualifying.
As hopefully we can keep on board with Sindre here for the moment. We can talk you through a lap of the Brands Hatch circuit. Surtees corner, final corner. We run the Indianapolis layout, Indy layout, I should say, of this famous track off of the final corner. We're going to go down the front straightaway, which really isn't a straightaway. You want to miss the dirt on the right-hand side because obviously dirt, loose gravel, not going to be good. Very tricky braking point down to turn 1. You want to push it out all the way to the AstroTurf there, hit the barrier nearly down the hill, angle it right-hand side, flick it to the left, and on the right, you want to clip the curb, but not too much because you might get a slowdown. Rub the paint there on the left-hand side down into the hairpin. Second gear, third gear. Don't hit the sleeping policeman. Off of the corner, over the jump, and landing in one of the toughest corners on this circuit. Uphill, as I'm actually looking at the stream, Victor, so I realize I am a little bit behind. So another time where I'm not paying attention, okay? This is just NASA in a nutshell, everyone.
I have to key up and take responsibility for that. I was not sharing my screen over on Discord.
It's all Victor's fault, and I would not be surprised if we got pumped.
Well, we'll make sure to do that at Road America.
As Charlie, make us not look ridiculous. What's going on in Twitchland? Oh, he's going to make us look ridiculous.
Welcome to round one, everyone.
And I don't know
People,
what happened.
hey guys, sorry.
Hi, hello.
I'm on push to talk. Switched earlier. All the technologies.
This is just NASCAR Nitro. I told you at the beginning that this is what's gonna happen. Okay.
We for these streams we do the after party before the stream. I don't know if
I
anyone
might have
realizes
had
that.
a fistful of bourbon before the race. Okay. Maybe.
But we've got some awesome commenters in chat coming in from the UK. We've got someone from Scotland, California. That's San Francisco. Great turnout tonight. People rooting for the iDrive Sim team. And there were some more too. Shout again who you're rooting for. And then we've also got Trevor Teal, 2 gifted subs. That brings him to 138 gifted subs in the channel. This guy is a sub gifting machine. Hopefully that gives him some good luck today out on the track. I think he's racing in the for the iDrive Sim team, right? Or DGR, the DGR team.
There's like 8 cars for that team. They split them up into 4 teams of 2.
Nice. And then
What a great livery, though.
And then one of Trevor Teal's gifted subs went to Smooth One, who turned around and forwarded that with 5 tier 1 subs gifted in the channel. So if you got a sub gifted from tier 1 or Teal or Smooth One, make sure you thank them in chat. Back to you guys.
Gentlemen, we get ready for heat number 1, and Connor Parisi picking up right where he left off, trying to beat Sindre Silva, and he's a 10.5 up on the Norwegian's time, and Josh Edmondson makes it a Jim Beaver Esports 1-3 podium sandwich for the Fox Gaming car of Sindre Silva. So a couple big things that Sindre Silva actually left Spark Last Lap Motorsports after assisting them to win that championship, the drivers and the constructors. He left that team, as I don't know if he's going to run the entire season, so Last Lap Motorsports actually changed it up. Philip Kraus, Ray Kingsbury, James Watson, and Marwan Moftah. So interesting that their rosters changed.
Yeah. And go ahead, Cody. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna make a comment on the qualifying at the moment. We got Connor's P1, 10.5 up on Sindre, and then almost like 8/10 back is Josh. So the top 2 are just in their own zip code.
Yeah,
I believe they call it postcode in Britain, but continue, Victor.
And I think one thing to say here is Sindre did say he wanted to run for the championship this year. Obviously, he has prior commitments to other series, the Pro Series especially, and he uses this to prepare. With that said, we've kind of worked a little bit with the Pro Series a little bit, kind of kept the schedule pretty similar, and I know he wants to go for another championship, because bragging rights and all that Simracer coin that you get from winning a championship feels so much better than not getting it. I can tell you that for a fact. I know I wasn't even close to winning it at all, but it made me feel pretty good to know I had a chance.
As this series and broadcast brought to you, of course, by Nitro Circus and Simracer Coin, the crypto Simracers for Simracers. And our 32 racers will race to own the winner's coin tonight. They have been a huge partner with North American Simulated Auto Racing, so please check out their mission and their platform, simracercoin.org. It's a very ambitious project that's going to end up being essentially, obviously, like money for sim racers. So you can trade the coin to make setups, car liveries, everything like that. So simracercoin.org, and they've been a huge partner in our ventures so far. As heat number 1 getting ready to go, and I can't believe that we have 11 cars. It doesn't even fit on a graphic. Connor Parisi, Luke Kraus, Jason Hook, David Schofield, Andrew Howell, Marwan Moftah, Josh Clogg, Daniel McDonald, Seth Rawls, Gordon Labine, and Nathan Ramsey. I don't know what's going to happen in this first turn. This is insane.
It's going to be mass chaos, especially with this tight right-hander into turn 1. Trying to fit 11 cars through here is not going to be a fun time, but we're going to see how good these guys are and see if they can do it.
So a 2x2x2x2. Obviously a staggered grid that we are looking at. Beautiful camera work from Victor Vallee. We might be missing a couple cars here, unless they're waiting to grid. No clogs on the track now. So those cars look identical of Kraus and Parisi, but I can tell you they are nowhere close to being teammates. And as we get ready to grid up, here in Great Britain as we get everyone on track. 6 laps, and 2 will transfer into the feature race. Heat 1 in Britain, green flag. Off the line, Parisi gets a great jump over Kraus into turn number 1. Side by side, Hook and Schofield into the first corner. Everyone's nice and tidy. Schofield's wide. He gets hit by McDonald, straightened out against the 95 through the chicane in turns 2 and 3. Rawls gets passed by McDonald. Great move, but Parisi trying to set exactly back to what he was doing last season. Claw got turned around in 11th. So running order, Parisi, Kraus, Hook, Howell, McDonald, Rawls, Schofield, Moftod, Levine, and Ramsey. Clog brings up the end of the field here. And Parisi trying to pull away. And remember, they have to take the Joker once during these heat races, so strategy's going to be aplenty. We look at our timing here. Howell, Joker's on the first opportunity, so he will complete his strategy in the 666. But Parisi, Cody, will lead at the end of the first lap.
Yeah, Connor jumped out to a nice, good lead over Luke here in P2. And then kind of a dark horse possibly this season is Jason Hook, who got a good jump. He's in P3. He made a final at the end of at Charlotte, if I remember correctly, last season. So look for him to possibly play a dark horse and see if he can jump some of these faster guys.
Side by side, Schofield versus Moftov versus Rawls. Remember, Rawls, dark horse on Monday night, winning the amateur category of the Sports Car Challenge. He's battling side by side with Moftov over the jump. I wish you could catch this because these guys are battling like it's the end of the world. Rawls goes wide in the 125. Loses all that ground that he had. We will Joker. Look at who's Jokering up front. Nobody does out of the top cars. Actually, no one's Jokering except for, well, Rawls kind of forced himself into the Joker. Parisi still leads. The gap is 1.2 seconds, it looks like, over Kraus, and an additional 2 seconds back to Jason Hook. So those top 3 pulling away.
Yeah, Kraus has been able to kind of latch onto the back bumper of Connor and putting down some good lap times. Kind of going and do his homework here and see where he can pick up on what Connor's doing to possibly learn for the final.
As we will come to crossed flags here in Great Britain at the Alzheimer's Association Flat Out Challenge here in Brands Hatch. I don't think Parisi's going to Joker right away. He's going to make the cars behind him play their cards first. As we take a look at David Schofield in car number 27. Battling with McDonald there. Jokering. It looked as though it's Mofta on the 191, so the Egyptian takes his Joker lap as we take cross flags for Connor Parisi. The gap has increased to 1.6, so 0.4 of a second. That's what he gapped over Luke Kraus. And Jason Hook ran a 56.457, so just under 0.8 slower, but still really good run for Hook. We know how quick he is in that 137.
Yeah, we'll definitely be looking for him. If he doesn't transfer in this time, we'll look for him through the semifinal here.
As hopefully we can get the trading paints refreshed for Jason Hook, because that's a beautiful new livery for the Ferris Shifters squad. Still his older car, just as beautiful, but wanted to give that sponsor a shout out. As Parisi through the final corner as we refresh those trading paints there. Wonderful utility when it decides to work. Connor Parisi will take 2 laps to go in car number 11. And I didn't even notice that his livery was updated, so I'm also blind. And we'll figure it out on the 137, Cody.
And Schofield is Joker there, so he lost a little bit of ground on McDonald. So that set him back. But he was about a second faster the lap before, so let's see if we can catch him and possibly get the overlap on when McDonald Jokers.
Parisi 0.7 of a second up. The gap is now 2.2 seconds from him to Luke Kraus. No relation to Luke Kraus with Philip Kraus. The spelling is different, entirely different. And really good thing that Jacob Kraus isn't here, because there'd be 3 Krauses that are not related, and 2 of which live in the same town in Wisconsin. So just figure that one out for yourself. As these 2, I think, are just going to follow each other home, Cody. We have to take the white flag, and neither of them have Joker.
Yeah, it looks like they're both going to Joker at the same time. It's not a bad idea for Luke. Yeah, like I said, just going to work and trying to understand where Connor is just a little bit faster, and this way, once you pick it up, you can play those cards in the final and possibly beat him.
As Connor really wide through turn 2 or turn 3 there. He was a 10th up on Kraus that last lap, and Jason Hook trying so hard to make it into the top 2, but I don't think he's going to have it in him, unfortunately, for the Australian. But Connor Parisi, like I said from the beginning, picking up right where he left off last season, came so close against Sindre Silva and Charlotte, did everything that he needed to do, but those issues with his rig in Norway prohibited him from getting those points that he needed to sneak that championship away. But he's going to start this championship in the best possible style, winning Heat 1 here in Great Britain, and Luke Kraus will transfer in the 134, as Jason Hook will bring it home in third. Schofield, McDonald, and Moftaw, Howell, Rawls, Labine, Clog, and Ramsey. Labine was black flagged. I'm not sure why. I'll try to identify that, but as we jump into Heat 2, Charlie, what's going on in Switchland?
What a race, guys. The audience went completely silent during that heat because I think that the action was just too good. But I will say this, we are getting more and more people rolling in here. So, hey, if you're just joining us, let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for, and, just something quotable so that next time they throw to me, I have something to read, guys. Come on. I'm relying on you to help me make my job easier. Back to you in the booth.
Oh, I just wanted to hear your beautiful voice. Even if it's not scripted, it's okay.
I'm working on this new broadcast voice. Hopefully,
you sound like a
good.
half robot. So I really like the unintentional mic filter there. If it's unintentional,
that's
Heat number 2 here, gentlemen. Sindre Silva, red plate holder, defending champion. Ray Kingsbury, Matt Hartley, the champion in 2020A. Magnus Okenhaug, the gentleman that he beat out that season. Cody Cryer, John Dipple, Chris Wetz, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. James Watson, Nate Stewart, Justin Robichaud, and Parker Fleming is our second heat race here in Great Britain. I think Labine took 2 jokers when he was not supposed to. He was given a black flag, and he will be sent to the semifinal. We're going to see 11 more cars barrel down to turn 1. Green flag in Great Britain. Sindre gets a great start. So does Hartley. Down to turn 1, the former champion against Ray Kingsbury. Down to turn number 1. Sindre holds the advantage, pushes Kingsbury out wide. Okenhaug, one car hits the wall. It's Wetz in the 71. As Kingsbury holds off Hartley, Okenhaug nearly tried to shoot the gap. He sneaks to the inside of Hartley in the 48. These two battling like they did for that championship several seasons ago. Sindre Silva leads us out of turn number 4. Over the jump for the first time ahead of Kingsbury, Hartley, Okenhaug, Cryer, as Watson gets by Dipple in the 34, Wetz, Robichaud, Fleming, and Stewart. And if I'm Nate Stewart, I would not like what I'm seeing with all those cars ahead, but if you're Sindre Silva, nothing but clear track ahead of you. As Okenhaug battling with Hartley, this is for the transfer spot. Granted, it's a little bit early to talk about it. Jokering is Dipple in the 34, but Sindre doing just what he needs to do, Cody, to transfer through to the final.
Yeah, you got Magnus applying pressure on Hartley, and Ray got an amazing jump to get up to P2. Let's see if he can run away before he has to joker. This way he doesn't get overtaken by the overlap for the joker. As Magnus is putting serious pressure on Hartley, trying to go, and hopefully he's trying to have getting stumbled there. He's trying to put pressure on Hartley, so this way if he makes a mistake he can capitalize on that.
It's okay, words are hard.
Yeah.
It's all good. Sindre, Kingsbury, Hartley. Remember the LRL racing team has
contact.
Right before I go to talk about it, gives him a nudge. Those two really good buddies on the track. As the LRL team transferred to the Ford Fiesta from the Subaru, and my knowledge from driving the Subaru, albeit terribly, Subaru with the longer wheelbase, I almost thought that the Ford had more grip and was more nimble, and the Subaru was faster on the straights. I could be completely off base there, but I've noticed that in the quicker chicanes, the Ford really flicks pretty well compared to the Subaru. And a reminder that these guys are racing for third. This is not the transfer spot. They still have to get up to Kingsbury in second.
Yeah, so hopefully, since these two are former teammates and all, see if these two can work together and catch them and possibly jump him. But yeah, the Ford is a lot better, especially it's a lot better when the track gets worn out and it's a ton of grip. But the Subaru has the advantage, especially right now with a kind of a fairly fresh track. It's able to handle the loose dirt a lot better than the Ford.
I'm going to roast you. They were never teammates. They were fighting for the championship
Sorry.
in that season. It's all good. It's Nitro Circus. We have to publicly roast people now, right? Jokering is Kingsbury, and Jokering is Oakenhaug. We'll see the rotation here. Hartley, well, nearly he does. There's no nearly there. He does take the spot from Kingsbury. Sindre loves this. 5.5 seconds ahead. Now, honestly, Magnus is back behind Bodie Cryer now in the 0-5 for iDrive Sim training, and Ferris shifters for Matt Hartley. So a couple of those DGR cars getting into the mix here. Kingsbury might be a little worried. Not saying that Hartley's slow by any means, but I would almost wish that Hartley jokers, and it's not like it's the final where you have two jokers, Cody. As he gets nudged by Cryer, they both save it.
I was just about to make that comment where Cryer could mess this up for Ray if they start battling. It'll let Hartley run away. As you got Bodie here, he's jokering, so let's see if Magnus can get around him as he bounces in the wall.
As Cryer into the wall in the final corner. Parker Fleming has been disqualified from the heat race as he took two jokers when you're not supposed to take two jokers, so the 434 will be in the semifinal in just a couple moments. Hartley still holding off Kingsbury in the 25. Sindre is slowly pulling away as we took 2 laps to go. And the two championship protagonists from last season picking up right where they left off in Charlotte a couple months ago.
At this very moment, even though we're only 2 heat races in, it looks like we may have the Connor and Sindre show again, but see if we can have a possible upset as Hartley now runs away from Ray. If Hartley was smart, he'd joker, but he does not, so he isn't able to capitalize on that mistake from Ray, although he probably didn't know that happened.
We can't call him not smart by any means. You have to be smart to somehow win a championship in this series. So Hartley has one of them. Kingsbury does not, but we know Ray Kingsbury, one of the fastest cars. White flag for Sindre. You're not missing anything up front here, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I should say, as Sindre pulling away from the field, 5.8 seconds ahead of Matt Hartley. So the last 3 championship seasons are represented in the top 2 spots here. Sindre, 2 in a row, and Hartley back in 2020A.
As we're coming into the final set of corners here, Ray's held that gap to about, I would say about a second, which is all he really needs for the jokers, is Hartley needs a joker. So let's see if we'll have a drag race down to the line.
As, like I mentioned, not missing anything up front. Sindre Silva will come off the final corner. We can still focus on this transfer. Sindre Silva comes off the final corner to win heat number 2. Where is Hartley in this equation? He hits the bumps. Nothing against him, but Kingsbury's going to take that spot right back and transfer through to the feature race. As Oakenhaug to the line, he takes it! I think he took 3rd. No, he did take 3rd at the line.
I was saying that we'd have a drag race, but I thought it was going to be for the transfer, not for P3.
I cannot get over that. I wonder if chat's going to explode on that one as Magnus Oakenhaug pulls it off ahead of Hartley as the remaining order, Cryer, Wetz, Dipple, Watson, Stewart, Robichaud, and Fleming. Wow.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about this track, with how it's set up, where you have the joker coming out of the final corner, and it's a full-on drag race down that front straightaway to the line. So coming out of it, you could be car lengths ahead, but by the time you get to the line, you could be passed. Kind of like how in the NASCAR world, Talladega, where you could be coming out of turn 4 miles ahead, but you get to the line and you could be 5th.
As Charlie, really quickly, you got something for us or no?
Wholesome moment in chat. Trevor Teal came in and said he was nervous for his heat, and his dad responded and said, "You got this, son."
That's glorious.
Well, I probably paraphrased exactly what he said. Okay, exactly what he said was "Go for it, Teal man." Still, beautiful moment, and chat is wholesome as well as fun. So, come join in the fun, everyone.
As join the conversation, I believe our hashtag, if Victor Vallee can remind me, I think it's as he tells me in my ear, hashtag NASA on Nitro. So Twitch chat, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you want to do, and we'll probably plug those socials at some point during the race. So all of our cars are going to fit on this graphic. 10 cars. Edmondson, Larill, Forrest, Kraus, Kingsbury, Teal, Brokaw, Feldman, Short, and Seymour. So another 6-lap race, and the 5th and 6th seeds will be identified at the end of this race. Green flag in Great Britain. Equal start for Larill and Edmondson. I'm interested to see how this battles to turn 1. In the middle's Matt Kingsbury. Kieran Forrest in the 52 gets into the equation, pushes Larill out wide. Forrest gets hit by Kingsbury, and we know Matt Kingsbury's desperate to make something happen, and he takes the 2nd spot. What a start. What a start from the American from Connecticut, and the one guy that did not benefit is 4-time champion Philip Kraus, way back in the pack now.
Now let's see what Phil can do if he can work his way through the field.
I think it goes without saying that once Philip Kraus gets mad, he'll pick up the time, the pace, the speed, whatever you want to say, battling with Robbie Larill. Larill did not benefit from that either. He was in 2nd, and now he is back in 6th, it looks like, 5th or 6th. Nobody jokers at the first opportunity aside from Tim Brokaw. Brokaw's back in the 7th position at the end of the first lap. And Kingsbury.
Yeah, Kieran, he had a chance to almost take the lead there in turn 2, but then with him being door-to-door with Matt, that's a single-lane corner, and unfortunately he gets the short end of the stick on that one.
And Matt Kingsbury, tired of having all the issues, whether it's GT or Rallycross, wants to get back into a final. He has won a race in the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge. He won in 2020A at Wild West Motorsports Park. Because yes, and it's not because of Nitro Circus, but we can claim it is, in true Nitro Circus fashion, we put these rally cars on the Stadium Super Truck track. So that's going to be super fun, and we'll go over, hopefully, the schedule through our warm-up session. Nobody jokers out of the top 4. Larill is the first taker. Trevor Teal as well. So we got a couple joker rotations there. Diane Feldman, Brokaw. Kyle Short has spun it in turn 6. So he is out of the equation there. In that, is that car painted like a rocket ship? That's amazing.
It was Kieran.
And Kieran Forrest forgets that the track goes left, and Larill plows in as well, and Teal. So what is pretty critical here is that is 4th, 5th, 6th, and this leaves the top 3 to battle, realistically, 2nd and 3rd to battle for this transfer spot. Remember what I told you about Philip Kraus? He's in 3rd now.
Yep, pissed off Phil came out, and now he is setting down lap times as good as our top 2 qualifiers.
As I can remember, one of the races, as Kingsbury Jokers in the 21, one of the races that I was racing against Phil, it was in Seattle. It was 2017 C, I think. He spun on like the 2nd lap of the feature and was in the back of the field and clawed his way back to 2nd and thought that he was going to pass me if he had one more lap. So something goes in that head of the 19, and it's very interesting. Cross flags for Josh Edmondson, not missing anything up front. 2.5 seconds is the gap. As Kingsbury jokered in the 21, we're going to take a look here on my timing. They have not jokered, but Kingsbury has. Forrest has in the 52 as well. So if I was Matt, I would be really quick and try and focus on not losing the delta over Kraus, because we know how fast Kraus is. As Larill in 5th, Teal, Feldman, Brokaw, Short's in 9th. And Travis Seymour looks like he's parked it in the 144, so Wreck-It Ralph off the track.
Yeah, it looks like Phil's actually starting to put a gap on Matt here, and he's actually running down Josh.
6/10 actually brought up by Victor Vallee, faster than Josh Edmondson. And he claimed that he was retired in 2021A, or in that season. And then he decided to leave me and go back racing. And I don't doubt him, because he still has the pace. He's not washed up like you or I, Cody.
Well, in true Wisconsinite fashion, he pulled a Brett Favre.
As Kingsbury losing touch with Philip Kraus. Kraus in the 19 Jokers. So the man from Wisconsin representing the nation of Canada. 4-time champion over the berms. He's going to easily pip Kingsbury here by a huge margin, actually, as Edmondson takes the white flag.
Yeah, and he only lost a second and a half there to Josh. So that was a beautiful joker that Phil was able to put in.
As Edmondson ahead of Kraus. These two will transfer through to the feature. As the last time that Edmondson jokered, he ended up in the fence. So I think that's a little bit of foreshadowing.
You got a lap car too.
As lap car in the way, it's Kyle Short in car number 20. Edmondson jokers. The last time, I should say, Edmondson jokered, I should correct myself. Last time was the feature in this race. He put it in the fence. So, final corner for Josh Edmondson. It's going to be two Jim Beaver Esports cars on the front row of the grid. Well, tentatively, figuratively, on the front row of the grid, as there's only 2x2. Transferring is Philip Kraus. Matt Kingsbury leads home the brigade of the cars that will not automatically advance and go through the semifinals. Kieran Forrest, Robbie Larill, Trevor Teal, Diane Feldman, Tim Brokaw, Kyle Short, and Travis Seymour. I've been looking over my shoulder here, Mr. Charlie Daniels, and it looks like chat is opening up.
They're definitely starting to root for some drivers, although I have noticed the last two races we had driver rooting for Fleming right before he had to bail, and then right before Kieran's little incident there, someone typed in chat the go Kieran. So we're going to keep track of this as it develops, but we could have a chat curse happening here in the Rallycross Challenge. Back to you guys.
Just like commentators curse, really.
I was going to say, hopefully it's not against them two, because those were both my drivers.
As we get ready for the, would we really call it C-Main or semifinal one? This is the first time that we've experimented. As we do look at that. 13 cars getting ready. 2 jokers and 3 will transfer. And this is uncharted territory. For this many cars, for 2 jokers and 8 laps. This is something that we have never had at this drastic of a format change.
We had something similar, like midway through, but it's nothing compared to this, and this is going to be crazy. I will have to say, everyone's been very nice on these starts.
As Hook, Kingsbury, Hartley, McDonald, Larill, Wetz, Rawls, Feldman, Watson, Clog, Robichaud, Short, and Labine. 13 cars. Green flag for semifinal A. Matt Kingsbury smokes Hook off the line, and so does Hartley. Into turn 1, side by side, the teammates and the Australians. 3 wide behind them. 1 car pushed out, 1 car around. It's James Watson. The car was pushed out. It was, I can't catch who it was. Contact in the second corner. Numerous cars involved. Daniel McDonald. It was Robbie Larill. Justin Robichaud, Seth Rawls. His Clog pushed out. It was, looks like it was McDonald into turn number 1. And you just talked about the clean starts here, and give me a moment to finish this, but you talked about clean starts, Cody, and then that happened. Let's see what happens on the first Joker rotation. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, 2 Jokers in this semifinal. So we should see Kyle Short Jokers. Wetz to the inside of Feldman couldn't make anything happen. As Labine, Watson, Larill, Rawls, McDonald, Robichaud, the running order back in the field. But Kingsbury and Hartley, great starts from them.
Yeah, there's also Hook's been able to latch onto the back of his teammate, and then you also have Clog. Them 4 have kind of broken away. There's a little bit of a gap. Then you have Feldman, Wetz, along with Short made a mistake there, so he kind of fell off the back of them too.
As Short actually parks it in the 20. So we take him out of the equation. He will be finishing, unbelievably, 31st. I never thought that I would say that number in a NASA Rallycross race. That's crazy. As we have cars side by side on screen here, once I can catch them, this is actually for the race lead. It's Matt Kingsbury and Matt Hartley, and both race winners. And Hartley, former champion, like we have mentioned, is after 2 laps. Kyle Short disconnects from the server, so unfortunate for him in that Ford Fiesta. Jason Hook getting close. He was 2/10 up on Matt Kingsbury, who was 2/10 up. Hartley was on Hook, so Clog is reeling these guys in, and we know how fast Clog is in a sports car. I think this is Clog's first or second start in the Rallycross series, so interesting to see as we ride on board Matt Hartley from Australia in car number 48. Kingsbury runs it wide in the 21, open the door for Matt. Couldn't make anything happen, Cody.
Yeah, I've been kind of watching Kingsbury, and every time he goes to that corner, he runs it wide and leaves that door wide open as Hartley takes a joker here, so let's see where he plays out.
You know what this Joker reminds me, and I can't remember the track off the top of my head. It's a very bumpy Joker. Hartley passes, or Hook passes Hartley. It's hard to keep track with those cars. As the bumpy Joker, I've realized it. It's the final corner at Croft, if you can remember that track from the NASCAR 2003 days.
Yes,
that corner was deliberately designed by somebody, and let's not act like we know. The short course, the final corner, as Victor Vallee asks on chat, Hook into the inside of Kingsbury. Final corner, let me get to my point, was deliberately bumpy because you could not get the line right. And that Joker reminds me of that. It's so hard to get right, but when you get it right, it's very satisfying.
The top 2 run it wide, so now Hook's been putting a ton of pressure here on Kingsbury. Let's see if Kingsbury cracks it off.
As Kingsbury not cracking under the pressure, as they have not jokered. Hartley will take his second joker. Clog takes his second joker. So, gentlemen, 3rd and 4th have completed their strategy. Clog, words are hard. Clog fenced it in the joker there. So I don't know if the 199 is going to be helping that one. Feldman has not jokered. Wetz has completed his strategy. But we focus on the top 2, as it looks like we have lost our social media guy. No, he's back. I thought we lost Charlie Daniels there for a moment, but we'll focus on this battle. Hook all over Kingsbury here.
As these two starting to run away a little bit from Hartley. Let's see if Hartley was able to reel it in, but Hartley has to more worry about the car behind him and Clog, as Hartley's sitting in the final transfer spot.
As they both have finished their jokers, though, Hartley and Clog. So the joker is 2 seconds, and Hartley is going to have that full delta over Hook. It's going to be very close between the teammates once this rotates out. Hook will enter his first joker. Kingsbury did not. So we begin lap number 6 here, and we'll look at the gap. It's 1.8 seconds from Hook, 2.4 from Kingsbury to Hook, and a further about 1.5 seconds back to Hartley.
I wonder if Matt's going to play kind of the strategy that being used to play, where if the joker is a little bit longer than the regular course, you wait until the very end to take it.
Pushing it wide was Hook in the 137. I'm thinking that Hartley's going to get this, for sure get this. The delta's gone versus these two cars. Now, if I was Hook, I'd be worried about Clog in the 199. If I'm looking at this timing right, it's about 3 seconds, so Hook could probably get out ahead of Clog. But we'll notice here. Jokering is Hook in the 137, exiting the joker. Hook nearly holds off Hartley, so makes me look out to be a liar, and holds off Clog, so 2 Ferris shifter cars in the transfer spot. 2 laps to go for Kingsbury after that brilliant start.
Yeah, Hook kept it super tight there through the joker, but then runs it wide in turn 1. But let's see if these two can they can race down Matt, which it seems like they are. So if Clog's able to reel him in as well, possibly Matt could go from 1st to 4th.
And this strategy is unraveled as Matt Kingsbury actually has, unless I am looking at this wrong, he has a joker left. So he jokered the first time off screen on that first lap. So if we look at the rotation here, I think he's going to have the delta over Clog, but it's going to be interesting. He'll joker on the last opportunity here in Brands Hatch. If you're just joining us here on the semifinal A Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge presented by Nitro Circus. Cody Erdmann, Josh Mertz, Victor Vallee, and Charley Daniels down in Twitchland. Round 1 of the 2021B season, 23rd season of the championship. Glad you can join us here on the Nitro Circus Twitch. Lapped car in the way, Robichaud of Kingsbury. We focus on the back of the field. Feldman, Watson, and Larill. Watson, huge run on Feldman on the outside into turn number 1, and Watson, the newcomer for Spark LLM, makes the move on the outside.
Guys, we got amazing battles here all over the track the last lap. See who can get max points as possible.
Kingsbury has to Joker on his last lap for his second time. He does. He enters the Joker. Hartley and Hook are going to pass him. We're going to focus. Hopefully we can ride on board with Clog here in the 199. Will Kingsbury be able to hold him off? That's not a question. He's going to be able to come out ahead of Hook here, but Hartley will win the semifinal, and Hook passes Kingsbury to transfer through. So the top 3 will transfer. It's Hartley, Hook, and Kingsbury. As bringing home the 13th place will be Clog, 15th Wetz, 17th will be Feldman, 19th McDonald, 21st will be Watson, 23rd will be Larill, 25th Gordon Labine, 27th Seth Rawls, 29th Justin Robichaud. And contact in the final corner between Larill. Wow. Larill and, that is, forgive me, Watson in the 39. Wow. What a race. We got one more before warm-up here. And for all you social media guys, we're going to have a nice little mention of the warm-up. Oh, my warm-up turns into 8 minutes, so I can finally catch my breath to get ready for the semifinal B. So, as we get ready to find the last 3 cars to make it through this race in Great Britain: Magnus Okenhaug, David Schofield, Kieran Forrest, Bodie Cryer, Marwan Moftah, Trevor Teal, John Dipple, Andrew Howell, Tim Brokaw, Nate Stewart, Nathan Ramsey, Travis Seymour, Parker Fleming. 13 cars. Oh boy, this is going to be huge. I don't want to predict any person to transfer through this race because anything can happen in NASA, and it usually does. Green flag for the second semifinal. On the outside is Cryer of Schofield. Down into turn number 1. Okenhaug holds the inside, getting nudged with Schofield by Moftah in the 191, and Moftah's going to hold it. Side by side through 1 and 2. He takes the spot. Kieran Forrest wants to redeem himself from the heat race, and he holds the 3rd spot. Cryer in 4th. 1 in the wall. Car in the wall. It's Trevor Teal in the 720. It's Cryer into Forrest. Sideways, saves it. As over the jump for the first time, the Egyptian Marwan Moftah leads Magnus Okenhaug, Kieran Forrest, Bodie Cryer, Dipple, Schofield, Howell, Seymour, Ramsey, Stewart, Fleming, Brokaw, and Teal. Let's see who will take the first opportunity of the Joker lap, as Marwan Moftah does not. Top 3 don't. Interesting, no, as Cryer does. Interesting strategy choice. That's a good one that I would have made, Cody, to take the Joker, take the slow lap out of the way, and get that clear track.
The best thing to do is get the clear track, be able to start running your laps to start getting in a good rhythm. As you have the top 3 have kind of got a little bit of a gap back to Dipple.
As Jokering looks like Seymour there. Or no, it's Nate Stewart in the 16. As, forgive me, Seymour and Stewart running Simracer coin liveries, but obviously not the same paint scheme. As let's keep an eye on Bodie Cryer. He was the first car to Joker here in the second semifinal. Top 3 are under a blanket. Marwan Moftah, Magnus Okenhaug, Kieran Forrest. What's interesting between these 2 top cars is that Marwan Moftah and Magnus Okenhaug both won in their first start, both at Daytona. It was 2018B and 2020A. Jokering again is Cryer to complete his strategy. So now we're going to have to focus on the 0-5 to see if he can claw back all of this gap that he lost. Looking to the inside is Magnus on Moftah. Couldn't make it happen.
Yeah, right now Kieran's sitting in the kind of the best spot, letting them two battle, and if either of them make a mistake, he can capitalize. Because they're seeming to be pulling away, but 3/10 that last lap on Dipple and Schofield.
As we ride on board the back bumper of Marwan Moftah in the Spark Last Lap Motorsports car. Car number 191, two-time race winner in the NASA Rallycross Challenge, ahead of Magnus Okenhaug, who won, I believe, 2 races, once in Norway at his home race and in Daytona in that season, opening race that season. Ahead of Forrest, who is holding the transfer spot. Dipple and Schofield, tantalizingly close. But no one has taken the Joker. As I say that, I lied. Forrest Joker's in the 52. So let's see where this puts him in relation to Cryer if he ends up Jokering again. Schofield's going to get by him. And it puts Forrest back to 5th place. Forrest to the inside. What a move! And he makes it stick!
As a side by side going through P2 is up 4th, give it up.
I was a little worried there. Battle for the lead. Over the curb, Magnus Okenhaug takes the spot. Contact over the jump between them, and Magnus Okenhaug. I almost thought he was going to be turned. Words are very hard. Moftah from the lead.
As now all those guys were able to capitalize on that situation.
I was just about to bring up Forrest was maybe pushing the issue against Schofield. Okenhaug and Schofield Joker. Moftah Jokers as well. But this benefits Cryer because it's going to lower his delta.
I would say it probably also helped Forrest because he already had 1 Joker as well.
As we take crossed flags here in Great Britain, and the British driver, John Dipple, leads us ahead of his teammate, Magnus Okenhaug, ahead of Kieran Forrest. And what makes it different is there's no Subarus in the transfer spots right now. So the LRL team and Sequential Sim Sport holding the baton for the Blue Oval, trying to make something happen out of this race.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier in the race, once this track starts wearing in, those Fords start really picking up speed, and the Subarus aren't as dominant as they were.
Dipple Jokers for his first bit of strategy in semifinal B. Ever so close is Okenhaug versus Forrest. Schofield completes his strategy. Off track was the 29er Ramsey. Good for him to stay off the track, and thank you for the slower car there. Forrest trying so hard against Dipple. He had the momentum exiting the Joker. He's going to try the outside again. Cody, I hate that I have to bring up because he's your driver, but I wouldn't be pushing this envelope if you're in a transfer spot right now.
Yeah. I behind him.
Schofield took both of his Jokers. Cryer took both of his Jokers. Forrest, oh, you're right, Victor. He was mentioning off mic. You have to be pushing because Forrest has not taken his second Joker, nor has Dipple, nor has Okenhaug. They both Joker in the 52 and the 34. Let's see what will happen. Exiting the Joker, Okenhaug holds the lead. Dipple will hold second. Forrest loses the transfer ahead of Schofield. Schofield's got the better run down to turn number 1. Side by side, 34 versus 27. On the outside, Schofield really late on the brakes, nearly wheel hopping into the first corner, pushing it way out wide into the wall, and Dipple's gonna hold. Or sorry, not Dipple, Schofield.
As Forrest reels him back in. Now let's see if Forrest can capitalize or Magnus can punch the hole for him like earlier.
Want to give an update to Marwan Moftah. He has pulled it off the track. Forrest battling so hard with Dipple. He knows that this is for this transfer spot. Okenhaug has to pull out some speed to hold off David Schofield.
Oh, good old bump and run.
There's contact between them, 52 and 34. Magnus is going to Joker, but he hits the wall in the Joker there in the 26. This is for all the marbles. And Forrest holds the transfer.
As we're coming to the white flag here.
White flag for Okenhaug, Schofield. Forrest holds the transfer ahead of Dipple and Cryer. Dipple very slow through turn 1. Contact between them, and they're going to wad up in the second corner. Turtled is John Dipple, and dare I say it, That just made Kieran Forrest a happy man. As Cryer took both of his jokers on the first 2 laps, but he had that incident. So final corner for Magnus Okenhaug, and the Norwegian survives the semifinal, the second semifinal here in Great Britain. He will seed in the 9th position. Schofield, 10th place for Okenhaug, 11th Schofield, and Kieran Forrest is the 12th and final seed here in Great Britain. As what a race we are looking to have. And I will see you guys in just a couple moments.
And behind the scenes, I don't know if anyone heard it. I know no one heard it. I hope at least not. But I was screaming because I thought that it was still Kieran out of the transfer spot, but I just
I'm going to roast you before I walk away.
Yeah.
Please make sure you're unmuted.
I was going to say, I am unmuted. I am unmuted. I can assure you of that one. Now, with that said, however, you could have roasted me for thinking that Dipple was in a transfer spot when he wasn't, and I have to credit that one to ATVO's timing and scoring and the way that works. And we do apologize once again for the weird little things like that when a car does park. They do go to the top. Unfortunately, there's no way I can personally fix that. But I can fix the checkered flag, and we can show it as green flag and let these guys race for the warm-up. Now, with all that said, and before I get all long-winded here, we're going to go ahead and check in with chat here with Charley. Charley, what you got down in Chatland?
Oh man, Chad was loving that round, and I have to say, some good insight. We got CubeCast in here. It was Chad Irvine,
yes,
talking about how I'm holding the button and talking about how the strategy chat in Mafta's voice channel, his team, the Spark team, I believe, was going nuts while he was leading for that first several laps of that semifinal. And man, to be a fly on the wall in one of those rooms, right? Like that has to be amazing.
Kidding. Yeah.
So yeah, lots of excitement. I know me personally trying to pay attention to chat is tough when these guys are racing like this.
Yeah, and I'm just looking right now at who would all be in Marwan Mafta's channel. So you're talking about, I believe, Brandon Lambert, who's our race director tonight, Chad himself, there, Kieran Forrest, Phillip, Ray, and then Marwan himself as well. So that is quite the channel to be in for a Rallycross event, I would say.
Yeah,
I don't think there's quite too many guys that would disagree with that.
Definitely. I mean, and the only other channel that might be more exciting is during this feature coming up, sitting in that Jim Beaver Esports channel with Connor Parisi, Josh Edmondson, and Sindre Silva, because man, that's where you hear some of the high level strategy, I bet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The fistful of bourbon Subarus. Both of these guys, pros at their own thing. Connor Parisi, a pro at the Rallycross stuff, and I believe Edmondson is one of the Pro 2 drivers, the stadium trucks and iRacing. They're all pretty good at that stuff, and it seems like it looks like they're paying off. It looks like it's paying off, the experience in those trucks and the off-road experience, because currently Josh Edmondson, P3 on the boards. And as I say, did you have anything else out there, Twitch land?
Just a lot of support for all the drivers. Trevor Teal has a cheering section going big.
That's
here.
awesome.
And lots of support for Mafta, and I saw some Watson supporters in there, and a couple others as well. People are turning out to cheer for their favorite drivers. It's fun to see.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Trevor Teal and James Watson did not make it to the feature, but stick around because it's still going to be quite exciting. Yes, I would love to see those guys in there too, but honestly, you're in for a show for the feature. These guys always put on a show, and I know last season in the LCQ we had a side-by-side finish for the final transfer spot for the LCQ event, and I believe we might have another photo finish tonight. I know a lot of these guys like to take their jokers late, and a lot of these guys like to take it early. And Cody, I know you probably know a little bit more about that than anybody else in here does right now.
Yeah, the Joker is like almost one of the biggest factors in this race. Yeah, putting down good laps is one, but it adds a little bit of strategy of knowing when to take it and when not to take it. You kind of want to get yourself, like Josh was saying, races before, that you want to get yourself in the perfect position of using it so you get nice clean track so you can start hitting your lap times and you're not hindered by the car in front of you or possibly behind you putting pressure on you.
Yeah, and another thing is that a lot, I think it was last year, I think Bo Albert mentioned it, was as this race goes on, as more people joker, that bumpy joker seems to start wearing itself out and get a little bit more grip from what I heard. So in that situation, you're better off taking it later, but how late is too late when you know that it could come down to a last-minute photo finish between you and another competitor?
Yeah, you definitely have to kind of play it with the cards that you're dealt after the first couple corners. You want to run. You want to. It's pretty much set up. If you have a good start, you kind of backload your jokers. But if you have not the greatest start, I've noticed a lot of guys, and I used to do it, I would put them first, but then also depending on what the joker was, I'd put that in my strategy. Especially with the iRacing portion, it's with the transition from on the dirt where it starts wearing out the later you get into the run. It's the later it is, the more gripped up it is, the faster it is, but then like you said, we have this drag strip down the front straightaway that you could lose out because the faster way is going around the normal course.
Exactly, and we saw Connor Parisi be the beneficiary of that last year in that LCQ, as I mentioned before. But I believe that's going to wrap everything up for the warm-up, and I'm going to turn this thing back over to the official voice of the Simracer Coin Rallycross Challenge, Josh Mertz.
As we get ready for, let me pull it up, round number 187 overall in the championship. That's crazy to say. And round one of the 23rd season of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro, Circus, Josh Mertz, Victor Vallee, Cody Erdmann, Charley Daniels, various places in cyberspace. Getting ready to take you through this 12-lap race, 10 cars, 2 jokers. Front row, Connor Parisi, defending champion Sindre Silva, Josh Edmondson, Luke Kraus, Ray Kingsbury, Philip Kraus, Matt Hartley, Magnus Okenhaug, Jason Hook, David Schofield. I'm running out of time. Getting ready for Great Britain. We go green at Brands Hatch. Off the line. Great start for Hartley back in the field. Side by side, Parisi and Silva, championship protagonists from last season, down to turn number 1. Edmondson gets pinched by Hartley, who gets pinched by the 134 of Hook there. Or sorry, that is Kraus in the 134. 3 wide on the outside. It looks like it's Hook trying to make something happen. The top 2 love this as everybody else is brawling in the back of the field. Sindre Silva, Connor Parisi, Matt Hartley, Edmondson in 4th. Side by side, Hook and Kraus for 5th. Luke Kraus, I should say. Off the jump is Kingsbury in the 25, coming back into Schofield in the 27, and 2 cars around. It's Philip Kraus and Jason Hook. So the 137 and the 19 make contact. So take them out of the equation, and we know Philip Kraus is going to be super angry. Jokering on the first opportunity is nobody. I lied. Magnus Okenhaug on the first lap. Matt Kingsbury jokers as well. At the end of the first lap, I'll catch my breath, but Cody, this is a lot like last season. Sindre Silva ahead of Connor Parisi.
Yeah, it's kind of looking like how F1's been lately. You got the top 2 guys running away, and then the mid-pack has been just pure chaos this first lap. As you got Hartley and Edmondson running P3 and 4, battling for the last spot on the podium. And then you got Luke Kraus here in 4th, just right off their coattails.
There's Hartley through turn 4. Edmondson getting close. Luke Kraus in the 134. Kieran Forrest, David Schofield. Schofield, nice recovery after crashing. with Ray Kingsbury, Magnus Okenhaug, Matt Kingsbury, Ray Kingsbury, Philip Kraus, Jason Hook. That's your running order. Is Philip Kraus in 10th. We might have missed a car. No, I stand corrected there. We'll wait for timing to refresh. Sindre holds the lead and holds the red plate, and he's trying not to have to edit his car for next week. Inside of Hartley goes Edmondson deep on the brakes and slides it in turn 1. He's going to lose 3rd. He's going to lose 4th. He's going to lose 5th. Maybe even put him back to 6th as he locked it up in turn 1. And that's relatively easy to do, Cody. That's not the first time I've seen it. I've done that move before. You just get too hard on the brakes into Schofield in the hairpin. Too hard on the brakes, and it just locks him up.
As he did have good heads-up driving not to go slamming through Hartley there, so give him credit on being a good, responsible driver.
Jokering is the top 2. They're not going to let either of them out of their sights. Sindre leads Connor, those two on top of each other. Hartley in the 48. He has not jokered in the 48, nor has Luke Kraus in the 134. I hate to say it, but I think this is a battle for the race lead between these two, and then we're focused on the battle for the podium. Sneaking to the inside of Schofield again as Edmondson tries it again, locked it up. He saved it in turn 1, side by side. Schofield holds the spot through turn 2. Very hard to get this section right. He's going to over-under him out of turn 3. Where have we seen this move before? And Edmondson to the inside, Cody.
As Edmondson gets a good drive pulling the slider.
Schofield put 2 tires into the sand trying to get the momentum. He's going to have a better run, I think. Bounced it off the jump. Not going to happen there.
And as we see in the picture, we got Magnus coming up right behind him. And it's Matt as well. Let's see what kind of battle put together.
And Hook gets turned by Kingsbury in the 25. You spin me right round, baby, right round, goes Jason Hook. Saved it. Forrest Jokers in the 52 as we take it to the front of the field. Put him ahead of Edmondson still. Hartley has not jokered. Edmondson has not jokered. Kieran Forrest, his strategy's done, so let's keep an eye on the 52 in the next couple of laps as we get close to cross flags here in Great Britain.
As the track's starting to really rubber up, so let's see if Kieran can do something with that Ford being on the nice rubber down track.
As Silva leads Parisi. Is there going to be any alteration in the strategy? Yes, right as I say that, Parisi jokers in car number 11. And you can tell he has practiced this one too many times, and that's not a dig on him. Perfect joker. There's a train of cars behind Kieran Forrest. Edmondson jokers, so does Luke Kraus. We take cross flags for Sindre Silva, and he has only taken 1 joker. Parisi now has completed his strategy, so I relate to St. Eustache back on the NASCAR 2003 days, because you take your joker, it's a longer lap, you see that car ahead of you, Cody, and then you know that you have that momentum. Schofield, we'll get to that point in a minute. Schofield off the road in the 27 and gets hit by Matt Kingsbury in turn 2.
I was just about to say, Edmondson put the joker and lost positions to Schofield and Magnus, but Schofield just grabs it in a bit too deep and loses it going into turn 1.
But back to that point relatively quickly, I know that's happened to you when you joker on a longer lap. You see the car that you're racing for the lead, you can focus on it, and now we'll see this rotation back up front, hopefully. Sindre Silva jokers in the 63. He comes out of the joker. Where is Connor? Nowhere close to Sindre Silva.
Sindre's been putting down perfect laps each and every lap here, but Connor has been much worse.
3rd for Hartley, 4th for Kraus. As Hook is off the track in the 137, so we have lost him. Let's take a look at our podium so far. Sindre Silva, Connor Parisi, Matt Hartley. Hartley doing a hell of a job in that 48, but he is not jokered, and he has no delta over Luke Kraus. Versus Kraus has jokered. We come to 3 laps to go here in Great Britain. And this is the battle between the 2 championship protagonists from last season, Sindre Silva and Connor Parisi. Fox Gaming and Jim Beaver Esports. These 2 battle all season long. And it was a crazy season last season with Bo Albert, debuting, winning 2, having bad luck, and disappearing to the World Championship. And then we have these guys. They are equal on lap time. It was 54.683 to a 54.625. As Hartley in turn 3, Sindre clipped the curb a little bit too much. We'll see if this is going to affect him. As Kraus tried to get by Hartley in turn number 4, couldn't make it happen there. And Cody, I think he might be pushing too hard. He knows he's going to get this spot.
Yeah, as Hartley's the only one that in the entire top 10 that hasn't completed his jokers. So let's see where that kind of puts him. He's putting a lot of pressure for not a lot of reason. I wonder if he doesn't know his Hartley in the joker here.
Hartley jokers in the 48. Let's see if he will come out ahead of Kraus. I don't think so. He's on the dirt, struggling through the bumps. We swap positions. 48 loses the podium. We put Luke Kraus on the podium in the 134. 2 laps to go, and the gap is shrinking. It's 0.8 of a second. That's a huge gap in a rallycross car, though. Running it wide in turn 4. I tried not to cut you off, but Sindre holding strong. This is going to be a great last 2 laps.
Yes, Connor starting to put in some really fast laps. The last time he had a 5:14 to Sindre 6:70. So let's see if we can start reeling him in, as we saw Sindre made that mistake going through that corner.
Lap and a half to go here in Great Britain. Sindre Silva currently tied with Dylan Smith for 8th on the wins list with 7 wins. He's trying to get to 8th by himself with 8 wins, and he's got 1 lap to do it. And he's going to try and start this championship off in style. White flag in Great Britain for Sindre Silva. The gap was cut by 0.2 last lap. Parisi trying so hard, and I think that might have sealed it.
As deeper, Charley was able to joker as Kieran goes diving up the inside of him as they make contact.
Kieran trying so hard to get the 4th position. Battling with Matt Hartley, the former champion.
Oh, Kieran hits the turtle. Gives us the
Sindre
position.
Silva trying to make it 3 race wins in a row. He's going to have the final corner and try and hold that red plate. And Connor Parisi gave him a run for his money.
Connor really closed in.
But the Alzheimer's Association flat-out challenge will go to defending champion Sindre Silva. 3 wins in a row and opening the championship in style, beating his championship rival Connor Parisi. Coming home on a podium finish on debut is Luke Kraus in the 134. Matt Hartley will come home in the 4th position. 5th will be Magnus Okenhaug, pipping Kieran Forrest for 6th. Matt Kingsbury in 7th. 8th will be Josh Edmondson after that adversity that he had to overcome. Philip Kraus in 9th. Ray Kingsbury in 10th. 11th, David Schofield. And 12th will be Jason Hook.
I think that's kind of what it went to plan, in my opinion.
As he begins to burn it down, the race winner, that is. Also a guy that was burning it down is Luke Kraus. So we'll see if we can grab him, because I don't think he is in the Discord chat. We'll try and grab him if we can. And Charley, while we're trying to gather our post-race interviews, how's Twitchland doing?
Oh man, what a race. I have to say it seemed like the chat was pretty evenly in trying to predict between Sindre and Connor for the win here. Most people though picked Sindre Silva to take home this win, and they were correct.
Let's see if we can get. Hopefully we can get our 3rd place finisher. I hate to throw you on the spot, Cody, but you might have to have a chat with Connor Parisi here while we are trying to gather in our 3rd place finisher.
Yeah.
As...
Seems like I'm becoming best friends with Connor, especially today.
So while we wait for Luke Kraus, we'll go ahead and bring in Connor Parisi, our 2nd place man, and Cody Erdmann is all yours.
Hey there, Connor.
Hey, man.
Wonderful run there, getting P2. you had a really good start there. Did you expect anything crazy, especially with having 12 cars now on the grid going into turn 1?
Well, it certainly was not a great watch because I did not come out in front of Cindric. But honestly, I was a little nervous having so many cars behind us. I was, always worried about the little extracurricular activities in the turn 1. So I was hoping to, get up there and away from it. And luckily, me and Cindric bumped a little bit. I think we were able to run away. And yeah, good race to Cindric. I couldn't quite get back to it.
And Cody's gone. So I guess
I believe we've lost Cody. So I
Cody's
guess
gone, so-
yeah. I guess I'll go ahead.
can,
You can go ahead and take over. Yeah, sure.
you get one, I'll get one.
Yeah, that sounds like good.
All right, okay, I'm back.
Oh no, there we go. There we go. He's back. All right,
We're
cool.
Nassau Nitro Circus, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been the theme of the night.
Yeah, that was a weird glitch. Okay, so, yeah, Connor, you were able to kind of latch on the back of Cindric there and put a lot of pressure on him. Did you think you had anything possible of doing a different Joker or anything to kind of possibly jump him, or was it just he was just that little bit better?
Well, I was trying to take a different Joker strat, but we ended up going in the same lap, and I was too committed to abort, so that kind of hurt. So I only had the one extra Joker strategy to play, and I just made a few handful of mistakes in the turn 1 and into the hairpin on the hill. So I never could quite mount a real attack. So good wins to him.
Yeah, well, thankfully you're able to put a really good points day in here for the opening round. Anyone you'd like to thank to help you get to second place?
Yeah, huge shout out to the Jim Beaver Esports squad. Big shout out to Josh Edmondson as well. He was able to win his heat, qualified real good. So props to him and all of our partners that we have here on JBE. So obviously, Fistful of Bourbon. I can't quite take a shot tonight because winners get whiskey, so none for me. But Fistful of Bourbon, Dirtfish Rally School, Motorsports Drop, and the Down and Dirty Radio Show.
Well, thank you for running with us, and hope you had a ton of fun tonight. We're looking forward to having our new round here in Barcelona next week, so hopefully we'll see you there.
Yeah, catch you guys next week. Have a good one.
And that
I don't know where Luke is, so we might be missing out on him.
I was gonna say I'm giving him a last call right now in the Discord chat to see if he's gonna join or not. But
we'll go ahead and bring in Cindric. You can handle that.
We can bring in Cindric here because I know Cindric pretty well. And let's say, give me just a moment to correct these graphics here as well because I am doing 100 different things at once. But Cindric, another win, dude. You are insane. I'm telling you, you are insane. I don't know what you're doing out there, but you're putting it down. To say, talk us through tonight, man. It seemed like a really good race from what we could see up here in the booth for you.
Yeah, I started with quali. I actually thought I was gonna call a P1 around Brands Hatch. I have a nice hot lap pace around here. Not so good race pace, but it showed that it was consistent and good. But when Connor pushed in that lap, I was a little bit shocked. So that put it a little bit downward. But that mega start in the final just gave it all. That mega start. That was a mega start.
I have to say, yeah, that indeed was a mega start, and it just seemed like smooth sailing from there. You know, especially with Connor right behind you, is there any kind of like added pressure when you have somebody like that close to you on the track, or is it just kind of business as usual for you, especially since it's somebody that you race with so often? You're just like, man, he's back there. I know what he can do. I trust him enough to where I can just run my own race.
Yeah, like Connor is a good driver. He has shown pace and he's really quick. So for me to stay ahead of him, I really need to just focus on my laps. I saw in the Delta every time I passed the finish line, we were almost exactly the same gap every lap. So I was just focusing on my own laps and not try to focus on Connor behind. I tried to do a little Joker tactic there, but it didn't work out 100% when Connor Jokered with me. But yeah, having Connor behind it's safe. I know that for sure. So it's better to have him behind me
Yeah,
than anyone else.
absolutely. And one more thing, as I say, I know you definitely have a lot of sponsors on this car. I know you got that partnership with Fox Gaming. So tell me who makes this all possible for you, man.
As I said, Fox Gaming, they're huge support through Rallycross and road racing that we are focusing on iRacing. Their sponsors, Power, Adidas, Nocco, Ørskog Sparebank, and Futureful for awesome support throughout the whole year and season and whatever we are driving.
Well, once again, thanks so much for coming out, Sindre, and thanks for putting on a show with Connor. As I say, you guys did a hell of a job, and hopefully we see you next week at Barcelona.
Oh yeah, we will.
Awesome. And that was Sindre Silva. Josh, I say, unfortunately, does not look like we have Luke Kraus joining us tonight, but I say for the fans at home, we'll go ahead and show his car a little bit and just tell everybody how good of a job the Fiercely Forward driver did in that Subaru.
In his debut, making the podium, hopefully I don't get my face ripped off from my dog. He is like panting at me. I think he needs to go outside. We'll get that.
Bear needs.
Yes,
you might wanna,
I'm gonna get killed. So we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up. Great race for Luke Kraus in his debut, 3rd place. Crazy race throughout the field. I will just get some final thoughts. We'll kick it off. I know Charlie's paying attention to Twitch chat, but we'll start out with you, and then we'll go to Cody, Victor, and myself, and we'll close this thing up.
Yeah, Charlie, go ahead and take it away, man.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I think, man, first round, couldn't have asked for a more exciting race. I hope chat realizes that it's going to be like this every single week, so you guys better come back for more. I just want to close it out by saying the people in chat rooting for Trevor Teal and Kieran Forrest and some of the drivers who didn't make the podium tonight. It's anybody's game. So we know we have some heavy hitters up top, but come back and root for your drivers, because it's awesome to see you guys out there. And then also just a real quick plug for the next streams. Monday night we have the Sports Car Challenge. Same time, actually no, it's an hour earlier, right? 8 p.m. Eastern time for the Sports
correct.
Car Challenge broadcasts. And then Tuesdays we do Nitro Circus League, which is sort of fun, weird combos of cars and tracks. And then obviously Wednesday nights we have our live podcast, and then the Rallycross Challenge. So tons more coming down the way on Nitro Circus Twitch. Thank you all for all the support, all the gifted subs, all the subscribers, all the new followers. Come back next time.
Cody?
Yeah, I would say this is kind of what we expected a little bit with Connor and Sindre. We saw what they did last season, and they were able just to get right back into gear and what they were doing. Like, I made the comparisons kind of like F1, where you have the front guys running away, but that 3rd place on back is going to be insane this year. You have, I would say, 10 to 15 cars possibly that could get a podium. So if the top 2 guys make a mistake, or just one guy clicks with a track, we could see a number of people being on the 3rd, 2nd, or possibly even 1st step of that podium. It's going to be hard to beat Sindre and Connor. They're both really good, as they just proved tonight, and as the season goes on, we most likely will see them proving it time and time again. So, looking forward to after this being just round 1, the whole rest of the season, where it's going to be a long road ahead of us, but it's going to be a great show.
And Victor?
Absolutely. Cody said it pretty well there. Almost anybody in this field can get a podium. I mean, I'm looking at just the drivers who made the final tonight. Everybody in the final could have had a podium tonight if things just went their way. I mean, honestly, I just can't say enough about how great these drivers are, how great our fans are, how great everything is about this series. And, I mean, I just can't wait for next time. Of course, as Charlie said, we got Monday night GT racing. That was a barn burner Monday night, so be there for that. Be there for the Tuesday night shenanigans, and then be here once again next week on Wednesday for the Rallycross of Barcelona. Josh, I'm gonna say you're gonna finish this one out for us.
As every week in every race, I say that you could never know what's going to happen. And for the last 9 years, every single race, no idea what's going to happen. And 12 cars for the first time ever in a feature race, 11 car heat races, 13 car constellations. Complete insanity, but true to the new partnership that is formed with NASA Sim Racing and Nitro Circus. Not to beat the dead horse, but programming notes, like they have been mentioned for the last 5 minutes. Next Monday, the Penguin RC Sports Car Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus and powered by the Automotive Sports Network. We go to Watkins Glen International for the 90-something Studios Grand Prix of New York. Coverage begins, I'd say, around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on Nitro Circus Twitch. The Tuesday night shenanigans right around the same time. Nitro Circus League. You won't catch me, but you will catch Charlie Daniels and all of the Nitro Circus crew with that insanity there. And Wednesday nights, the Sim Racer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus, also powered by the Automotive Sports Network. We go to the iDrive Sim Training Barcelona Bash at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya in Spain for the return of the Spanish race. We have not seen that since 2019B, I do believe, when we were on NASCAR Racing 2003. Keep your eyes peeled on the social media, whether it's Nitro Circus, ASN TV USA, or on the NASA Sim Racing socials. We'll post all those handles, post the Discords and chat. Keep an eye on Thursdays. Might have some streams coming on in the pipeline. Won't give too many details away, but we hope you've enjoyed today's coverage of the NASA Rallycross Challenge. For Charlie Daniels, Victor Vallee, Cody Erdmann, I am Josh Mertz. For the rest of my team and the rest of this series, we hope to see you next week in Barcelona or next week in Watkins Glen. But until then, so long, everyone.